Imagine you're standing on the edge of a skyscraper. No harness, no safety net, just a sheer 90-degree drop into nothingness. Your heart is pounding, your palms are sweating, and every single survival instinct in your primitive brain is screaming at you to step back. Why? Because gravity is an absolute bully. If you slip, gravity wins. Every time. But now look at this guy. This is a mountain goat. It weighs up to 300 pounds. It has no claws, no sticky pads, and no suction cups. And yet, it is currently hanging out on a vertical cliff face, thousands of feet in the air, casually chewing on some moss like it's hanging out in a Starbucks parking lot. Seriously, look closely at these photos. They don't just walk on cliffs. They live there. They sleep there. They have babies there. To you and me, gravity is an inescapable death sentence on a cliff. To a mountain goat, gravity is barely a suggestion. How are they not falling? How does a heavy, hoofed mammal completely break the laws of physics and defeat high gravity on a 90-degree wall? It's not magic. It's an evolutionary masterclass in biomechanics. Let's break down how they do it. The hoof, nature's climbing shoe. To understand a mountain goat, you have to look at its feet. When you think of a hoof, you probably think of a horse's hoof, a solid, hard block of keratin. If you put a horse on a 90-degree cliff, it goes sliding off immediately. But a mountain goat's hoof is entirely different. It is a highly specialized, double-layer climbing shoe. First, it's split. The hoof has two distinct toes that can move completely independent of each other. If a goat steps on a jagged piece of rock, the toes spread wide apart to distribute its weight and literally pinch the rock. Second, look at the bottom. The outside edge of the hoof is hard and sharp, like the edge of a chisel. It can dig into the tiniest millimeter-wide crack in the stone. But the inside of the hoof? It's a soft, rubbery, textured pad. This pad acts like a high-friction suction cup. It molds itself over every single micro-bump and imperfection in the rock, creating an insane amount of grip. Think of it like the ultimate climbing shoe, a hard chisel edge from micro-ledges, and a sticky rubber sole that stops them from slipping even on wet ice or loose gravel. The anatomy, built like a bulldozer. But having sticky feet isn't enough when gravity is pulling a 300-pound body downward. You need the horsepower to back it up. If you look at a mountain goat's body shape, they look kind of front-heavy, almost like a bodybuilder who skipped leg day. Their front shoulders are massive, muscular, and incredibly dense. This is intentional. When a mountain goat climbs, it pulls itself up using its front legs, much like a human rock climber doing a pull-up. Their front legs are positioned closer together underneath their chest, which naturally keeps their center of mass pushed inward, flush against the cliff side. If their center of gravity drifted outward, gravity would catch them, rotate them backward, and peel them right off the wall. By keeping their body tight to the stone, they neutralize the pulling force of gravity. And if they do get stuck, they have an emergency move. Mountain goats can pull off a literal 180-degree flip on a ledge the size of a brick. They just bound off the wall with their front legs, spin their body in midair, and catch themselves on the next microscopic ridge. It's pure muscle memory and zero hesitation. The strategy, the safest place in the world. Now, you might be asking the real question. Why? Why would any sane species choose to live in a place where one bad step means a 2,000-foot plunge? Because of what we talked about earlier. Remember who else lives down in the woods? Lions, wolves, bears. Absolute apex predators. Down on the flat ground, a mountain goat is slow meat. They aren't built to outrun a wolf pack or outsprint a mountain lion. But up on a 90-degree cliff face, wolves can't follow them. Bears can't follow them. Even the most agile mountain lions will look up at a vertical wall, do the risk-reward math, and realize it's a death trap. The cliff face is an evolutionary fortress. By conquering gravity, the mountain goat completely eliminated its predators. Up there, they're completely safe. The vertical world isn't a hazard to them. It's their sanctuary. Conclusion: the master of the vertical. So, why does a high gravity pull mountain goats off a 90-degree cliff? Because over thousands of generations, natural selection stripped away everything that made them weak on flat ground and tuned them entirely for the vertical. They don't fight gravity. They understand it. They use custom-built suction cup hooves, a specialized low center of gravity and massive upper body strength to turn the most terrifying landscapes on Earth into a peaceful home. Next time you're facing a steep challenge and you feel that little pulse of anxiety, just think of the mountain goat. Sometimes, the safest place to be is a place everyone else is too afraid to climb.